So welcome back everyone. This of course is map number 1 of a best of 3. The semi-final of Go for SC2 Monday. A TvT, which in itself is a bit of a mythical creature. Just got out of a TvZ with one of these two players in the quarters, and it was a long series. And the man responsible for that is spawning in the top left. The purple Terran player, the Panzer General, GoOdy. And his opponent, down to the bottom right, the red Terran, Revenge. This is gonna be a bit of a long series, I reckon. Unless, basically any series with GoOdy, and this is honestly the truth, any series with GoOdy is gonna be a long series, unless their opponent decides to kill him quick. Then it won't be. But if GoOdy has anything to say about it, he'll build a wall of missile turrets, a wall of siege tanks, and slowly edge forward. And that's how GoOdy plays. And it's pretty successful. It's got him into the semi-finals. And if he wins this series, he guarantees himself, at minimum, €25. If he wins the finals, where he'll actually be playing up against, if I take a quick look, he'll be playing up against either Stardust or Key2. If he wins against the winner of that semi-final, he will get himself €50 and also a spot in the monthly Go for SC2 finals worth €600 worth of prize money. Anyway, got a brief pause here at the moment. Looks like Revenge is ready again though. We can discuss a little bit how these two have opened very differently. Revenge opened gas into racks, whereas GoOdy opened racks into gas. And when do you say very drastically different openings? They're not crazy different, but they are pretty substantial. GoOdy likely to get a Reaper out first, whereas Revenge more likely to open up with a quick factory, as you see he's already got enough gas, that 100 gas mark, to start up a factory immediately. And actually go factory and a reactor fast, so he's probably going to be looking to get some Hellions. Why might Hellions be good on this map? It's because of this area and how big, wide open the area in the natural bases. You can sneak around with them, easy peasy, and it's tough to actually close them out. Very important. Also now, for Revenge, we do just see him getting down the Marine, whereas GoOdy's side, as expected, actually no, not as expected, he's not going for the Reaper, he's instead getting the factory down just a lot later. So that factory is about 28-30 seconds before. Quick supply depot coming down to. Not much else there. And well, this is all very TvT-ish. Starport though coming down to. Could actually be some kind of Widow Mine drop play. Wait to see if we get any Widow Mines, but more likely we'll see some Hellions come out. Potentially a Banshee play. With the Tech Lab, a Banshee play seems more likely now, as they can switch around. Double gas as well indicates and points towards that. GoOdy gonna be winning the race to get the first additional command center down as he starts his up. Just needs to be aware that his opponent could be coming with a bit of hurt. There's the switching coming through. Banshee should get started. Getting Cloak as well. Always a nice touch. Allows you to get a bit more damage done potentially. Yeah, this is all looking pretty cool. Nothing too scary happening. Big thing that GoOdy's going to be keeping a close eye on is, or wanting to keep a close eye on, is what these Banshee do. Because they can potentially be painful. If GoOdy doesn't adequately prepare for them, he's going to run into problems. But you'll note that he's got supply depots spread all around his main base. This is giving him advance warning that this could be coming. He's also got, as Revenge lags out a bit unfortunately, he's also got a Widow Mine placed nicely, which is a very common route that the Banshee may come through at, not expecting anything to be here. And that could be bad, sad times. Where is this actually rallied to? We can't actually see at the moment, but it is running on a path if I project this out, it's going to come through here. That's just a very brave place it could try and go. Regardless though, Hellions coming through. There's already a Viking on the field. Second one coming. And with the engineering bay, a missile turret can start shortly. If not, there is enough energy for a scan. So GoOdy seems to be preparing to deal with this before he even knows it's there. Instant cloak comes through. Still no scan being used. GoOdy will ideally want to try and completely kill that Banshee. Goes for the scan now. The Viking going to be chasing it down. Widowmine hit. Baited it all out. Beautiful play there by GoOdy. And that means that he shuts down that Banshee, only losing 2 Marines. Nicely done. No natural base taken as of yet by GoOdy. Should float it down soon. Whereas Revenge, he's not got his natural base finished yet. But what Revenge is doing is starting to move across the map. Only a handful of Marines in the tank, but still enough to be a little bit irritating. The Raven is essential for the mobile detection to prevent things like that Widowmine from being too dangerous if it gets caught off guard. Still though, just waiting to see exactly when he moves toward the Raven. You can clearly see that, okay, Widowmine there. I'm just going to slowly shell that through. GoOdy though, waiting at the top of the ram. He's got the Viking, so he can take out that Raven very easily. There's also this supply depot at the edge, which is quite interestingly placed, because that's going to go down, definitely. Plenty of room to take that out. Quick little siege, but push from the right. GoOdy traps Revenge, knowing what his plan would likely be. Auto turrets being placed as the only real option, and while the Hellions are being killed, the tanks stayed alive, but no high ground vision in order to take down that supply depot. Second tank from Revenge, now trying to get some more work done. He's also microing that Marine very effectively. A Banshee coming over to join forces, but Revenge not going to fall into that trap again as of yet. And everything so far really feels like GoOdy has got a good tap on his opponent and is just nudging him the way that he wants him. Like earlier with the Banshee over the Widowmine. Just tempting him to take these engagements where GoOdy wants. But Revenge, sieging up into the natural, has taken his own with the orbital command there, and so is now getting an economic lead over GoOdy, especially with that higher worker count and now the more efficient mining. The other problem is GoOdy is now being forced to mule his main longer than that of Revenge, which means the main base of GoOdy will mine out faster than Revenge's. Revenge is in a good siege up position as well. It's going to be quite challenging to break that. And so GoOdy has to really try and find a good response. Got to be careful with those Marines. They edge very far forward. A few of them gonna get their limbs blasted apart. But GoOdy, he's just got to sit and wait back here now. No additional Raven coming over, and this may be a bit of oversight by Revenge, because if the Banshee which is making its way across was actually cloaked, it would force a scan. Down now comes a little movement, and this orbital command is being very brave. Tank sieging up, not quite in range. Nice little pick off there. Knows it could be coming. GoOdy desperately wants to take that natural base, but I don't think he's going to get a chance to. Another siege up, but with a great scan and great star stench, we just see Revenge able to annihilate a lot of those tanks. The Marines taking a few hits, but better trade there by far for Revenge. Unfortunately, the Marines dying mean that the Cloak Banshee is able to now just start wearing away at these tanks all through 4. Probably are going to die. At least 3 should go down. Marines frantically trying to come over. Scan going to be used. Revenge may get a Banshee here. Not quite. Just backing out. Very nice control here by GoOdy. We'll get that next tank. Another scan being used. That's 2 scans for the Banshee and 3 tanks. But GoOdy has fallen a fair-ish way behind in his natural base timing. He's also down by 20 workers. Revenge showing some really good skill at the moment. Revenge adding in, obviously, the melee upgrades, the infantry upgrades rather. There is no melee upgrade for Terran. I am aware of that. I've just been casting a long time. But yeah, Revenge just adding in the infantry upgrades, going for a marine tank composition, whereas Goody, would we expect anything less, adding in additional factories to go mech. By going mech, he's going to fall behind in upgrades quite substantially, and also his mobility. And that's what Revenge really needs to try and exploit, is that Goody doesn't have good mobility around the map or even drop defense until he starts getting up his missile turret walls. He has 2 missile turrets up already, a few more dotted about, but plenty of space for these Medevacs to sneak on by, especially if they boost through. They should be able to back out. Need to be a bit careful not to go too far forward, but already we see Goody having to reposition, and there's a decent number of Marines here, and while one of those Medevacs is very low, by taking out the missile turret first, the retreat is possible. At least until the Vikings come over. The Vikings will make that a lot more challenging. Quick little cloak on the Banshee, but a scan being used. Gets that for free. Well, not for free for the double drop, but nicely done. Good amount of lost mining time there for Goody too. But a big commitment from Revenge, who immediately queues up another double drop to go into the main. Goody does have Blue Flame being researched for his Hellions. That's going to really aid him in dealing with all the Marines and the bio composition from Revenge. Quick little check of the watchtower, sees what's happening, what's coming round. The Marine being met by another lone Marine, who they just avoid each other. And so the double drop does get scouted. That should now signal Goody to make sure that he's very defended up in his main, but as always, Goody building just a miraculously beautiful missile turret ring that will just prevent any damage from being achieved. Especially the Vikings there too. Revenge though, he's got his third base. He's calling down the Mule Hammer, and his economy is flourishing compared to that of Goody's. Goody, while he does have a third orbiter command, it's still up in the main, and that means that he's muling more heavily at his natural. He's oversaturated his natural. And where he had that blocked for so long by a good contain from Revenge, Goody's main is also a lot lower than that of Revenge's. Overall, if we look at the incomes, we can see that Revenge just pulling in a decent chunk more gas and minerals per minute. And that's going to be nothing but beneficial for him long term. A few scans being used. Just gets a nice little timing of that third lifting up there. So that was a nice scan from Revenge. He's also got a Marine on the low ground just to block it out for a little while. Adding a big drop, or a big group of units coming around the left, and that actually takes out a lot, and it's going to be quite challenging for Goody to defend this. His tanks are not in position. The Marines for Revenge now coming over. They're trying to chase down fast. Counter tanks getting in position. It's going to deny the third base being taken, but shouldn't be able to take out the orbital command there. But regardless, Revenge buys himself a bit more of an economic edge. Got to be careful now of those Blue Flame Hellions. The tanks are not sieged up yet. Will get the siege down faster, but Goody, with just a greater force here, should be able to crush this army of Revenge. The Vikings destroying the Medevacs, meaning the infantry has no healing, and the Blue Flame Hellions just able to chip away at those Marines very quickly. But now, Revenge ready for Revenge moving on up. Decent number of Marauders, should be able to deal with these tanks quite fast with that many. He has good upgrades too, 2-2 up against the 1-0 upgrades of Goody. His Marauders though slowly getting worked apart as those Hellbats tank up a lot of the damage. This lone orbital command getting a bit confused where he should be landing. Revenge though aiming to stay a base up on his purple opponent and starts moving over a command center to the 4th. Note command center on orbital, ready to become a planetary fortress, so it's easier to defend, specifically against small drops and things like that. Another drop coming down in the natural base now, and quite a few SCVs are going to start falling here. Good starter step micro coming down from Revenge. Goody attempting to bring back some units to defend this, but with only a handful of Hellbats. The Marauders are giving them a bit of a run for their money. One tank, but a bit far back. Revenge, this game has killed 20 workers, whereas Goody has only slain 3 of Revenge's SCVs. That gives Revenge over, well, it gives him a 14 worker lead if I'm not, a 24 worker lead, which is pretty damn high, and a base advantage. Upgrade advantage also on Revenge's side. GoOdy has only got 1-1, whereas 2-2 is already finished for Revenge. He's also halfway through 3-3, so a big upgrade lead coming for the Alien Invasion player. GoOdy doing great work defending against these drops, but they're coming from multiple angles. Tanks even being elevated up into the high ground just to try and prevent the reinforcements coming through as quickly. A lot of SCVs getting killed, and while the 2 tanks will inevitably die relatively fast, work has been done. 39 SCVs remain, and this medevac continuing on up into the main base. Got a decent number of units. We'll have to drop them down. I'm going to try and take a few more SCVs out. GoOdy's starting to fill this now, should be. Only one more SCV died. A couple of Hellions should go down. Marauders just tanking it up. Revenge also bringing some more units across the map. Continuing on with this pressure. He's got solid production. And he's getting ready for the inevitable Raven switch with 3 additional starports being produced. And this is always going to be the case in late game TvT. Once you've got up to pretty much to at least kind of 8, preferably 10 gases. Wouldn't be surprised to see the 9th and 10th gas and obviously the 5th base taken soon. You can afford to just pump out Ravens, and then you're trading energy in the form of Seeker missiles and auto turrets for units, and that's always going to be an advantageous trade for you. Revenge also keeping up the pressure, looking to try and find more avenues to poke and prod at GoOdy. Income wise, Revenge just astoundingly ahead, 1,000 more minerals a minute and about 300-ish more gas per minute. And that quickly compounds up into a very big economic lead. GoOdy's not even actually trading that much more cost effectively either. He's lost about 2,000 less resources over this entire game, but obviously that's a big difference in income. Revenge now pushing forward, takes out a couple of tanks and sneaks on by. The 3rd Orbital Command is in trouble. It lifts, but it gets annihilated. That is a massive snipe off. Big commitment there by Revenge, and GoOdy GG straight there. Great snipe from the Alien Invasion player, and game number 1 goes to him.